friend, welcome back to my kitchen. If YouTube brought you here, my name is Stacy, and around here I create quick, easy, delicious, affordable meals. One thing that I love to do is I love to show you how using a well-stocked pantry and a well-stocked freezer can have meals on your table in minutes. And today is no exception. Today I have 3 meals to show you that use freezer and pantry essentials that you are going to love. 5 ingredients or less, a snap to put together, and of course, a crock pot version as well. Come along, let's get started. Now, before we get started, I wanted to make sure that you knew that all 3 of these recipes will be down below and they'll be time-stamped, so you can just jump ahead and get the recipe that you're interested in. Also down below is that subscribe button and that like button. I would love to show up in your YouTube feed every week. I'm here every week doing quick, easy, affordable meals, and I would love to show you these new recipes, maybe some reminders like this week, recipes. And so be sure to hit that subscribe and that like button so you can become a part of our little Simple Meals community here. I'd love to have you. Now, also down below in the description box is going to be a link to my website, and that website will have the printable versions of all 3 of these dishes as well. So if you've hit like, if you've hit subscribe, and if you're ready, now let's get started. Here's what we're going to need for our freezer ravioli lasagna. Some cheese ravioli. These are just the Walmart brand, but any frozen cheese ravioli is good. You need some cheese. Now, my choice is going to be mozzarella and parm, but cheese of your choice, and you could use a bagged cheese here if you didn't want to shred it yourself. Then I'm going to make our sauce, and I'm going to make it a meat sauce. So I have a pound of ground beef and a 24-ounce jar of marinara sauce, and then some Greek seasoning blend. If you don't have the Greek seasoning blend, you can substitute for Italian seasoning, but I will post the link to this printable recipe in the description so that you can go ahead and have that on hand. Now, I'm going to make this 2 different ways. I'm going to make it for one in our crock pot. Can you guys see this right here? My sweet husband, you know, I named her Betty Crockpot, and my sweet husband cut some vinyl. So every time I see that now, it just makes me smile because it says Betty. I love it. I love him. So back to not chit-chatting. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to do better. We're going to cook this dish for one in the crock pot, but we're also going to do this dish for 2 in our 8x8 pan as well. So first thing, I need to make my sauce. So I'm going to brown my ground beef and put my spaghetti sauce on there. Now we have our cheese grated and we have our ground beef browned. It's a tongue twister, y'all. I'm just going to pour our sauce right in, and I'm going to leave a little bit in the jar so we can do our first layer in the crock pot with that. And remember, today I'm cooking both of these, the version for 1 and the version for 2. So I have a little bit more sauce than what you're going to need if you're cooking for 1. And I'll be sure, I'll do 2 separate recipes. How about that? I'll do the crock pot version for 1 and the 8x8 pan for 2. I'll write both of those recipes for us. So you'll have both of those on my website. Okay, we're going to need to spray the inside of the crock just because we have cheese and sometimes it'll get a little browned and we don't want it to stick. Alrighty, so we've got that out of the way. We put just a little bit of our sauce in the bottom. There we go. Now, the back of our ravioli package tells us that a serving size is 10. So we're going to do 2 separate layers with 5 in each layer, maybe more. And we just take these straight out of the freezer. Really, those want to stick together, so we'll let them. So that's 4, that's 5, maybe a layer of 6. Okay, then we'll come in with our cheese. Grab a little bit of cheese. This is where your seasoning is going to come in. Again, I'm using the Greek, but you can use Italian seasoning if that's what you have in your pantry. And I'm just going to sprinkle it. I'll switch hands so you're not looking at my wrist there. There we go. Just sprinkle it over the top. Not very much. Now we'll go in with our meat sauce. And just cover it. And then we'll add another layer. Of 5 or 6, whatever. And again, these are stuck together, so we're just going to let them stay together. And it's going to be 6. There we go. And again, a little bit of cheese, sprinkling of our seasoning, and some meat sauce. And I've already made a mess. You wouldn't be cooking with me without seeing a little mess, friends. And we're going to end with a layer of cheese right on top with a sprinkling of our Greek seasoning. This will get covered and we will cook it on low for 4 hours. To put our 8x8 pan together, we're going to start exactly the same way that we did earlier with the crock pot. We just have a little bit of sauce that we didn't put in with our ground beef. And we'll spread that on the bottom. And then we'll add a layer of ravioli. And then a layer of cheese, a layer of seasoning. And these are stuck together, so they'll stay together. Now, if you wanted to add another cheese to this, you could do ricotta, you could do cottage cheese, whatever you prefer, or even a bechamel. Whatever you prefer in your lasagna would work here. But we're trying to keep it 5 ingredients or less, so that's why we're going to stick with just doing the parm and mozzarella blend. Alrighty, so now our cheese goes on top. Sprinkle it with a little seasoning. And then add our meat sauce. And now for layer 2. This is a great one if you need to take dinner to a friend, because they can put this right in the freezer and have it later, or they can bake it and have it now. It's super versatile. And if you get the family size like I did, then you'll have a couple of meals out of it. And they really want to stay together, friend. They do not want to break apart. Now I'm going to be able to have about 2 layers, it looks like, before this pan is filled up. If you're making this family size, it would be in a 9 by 13 pan. One more. Another layer of cheese. I'm not going to put as much cheese because I need to top it with cheese, and I want to make sure that I have enough to top it. Our seasoning, and then we're finishing with our meat sauce. Use all of the sauce. There we go. Top it with the rest of our cheese. We're going to bake this at 350 covered for 30 minutes, then uncover it and cook it for another 15. And I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of the Greek on there. If you were making this for a freezer meal, this is the point that you would stick it in the freezer. So, covered, 350 for 30 minutes. It's been 4 hours. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Lasagna in the crock pot. Yum. Let's dive in here and see what this looks like. Now remember, the raviolis were frozen when we put them in there. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. And see, you can see that little crunchy cheese on the side. That's why we did our avocado oil spray. And this was 10-ish, right? About 12 raviolis. A little sprinkle of Parmesan cheese on top. Dinner is served. After 30 minutes, this is what we have. So this will go back into the oven at 350 for another 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, this is what we have. Hot, boiling, delicious, and it smells fabulous. Now let this cool for about 5 minutes because 1, it's boiling hot, but 2, it needs to set up just a little bit. After 5 minutes, we are ready to cut into our freezer ravioli lasagna. It was so easy. We still have ravioli left to do another one. And it's delicious. It's time to eat, y'all. This meal comes together so quickly. It's literally a 10-minute meal if you go ahead and cook your rice ahead of time. The longest thing that we have here is to cook the rice. So we're going to have a bed of rice, and then we're going to make chicken teriyaki stir fry. I have the peas and carrots, and those are just frozen peas and carrots. Now, if you wanted to do a lower carb version, you could definitely do this with broccoli as well, or you could even change your protein and do a steak instead and do a beef stir fry. All you're going to need is your protein, your veggies. I like the water chestnuts just because they add a little bit of crunch to it. And then this teriyaki sauce. Now it doesn't have to be this teriyaki sauce. It could be any teriyaki sauce of your choice, but that's it. We're going to dice up our chicken, and then we're going to saute that, add our peas and carrots and our water chestnuts, our teriyaki, and serve it over rice. And that's it. Now let's talk serving size. Here, I have 2 of us home tonight, so I'm gonna do 2 chicken breasts. So if it's just 1 that you're cooking for, then it would just be 1 chicken breast. On the peas and carrots, we're gonna turn this over and we see that the serving size is 1 cup. So if you're gonna do 1 chicken breast, that would be 1 cup of veggies. 2 chicken breasts, that would be 2 cups of veggies. And if you're cooking for a family, 4 chicken breasts and the whole bag of the frozen vegetables. All right, I'm gonna dice this up and then we're gonna head to the stove. One little note, you can add a little bit of seasoning if you want to. Throw in some house seasoning and a little bit of ginger if you wanted to add something to the chicken, but this is so flavorful, you really don't have to. But because I have the house seasoning and I have the ginger, I'm gonna give it a quick little sprinkle on mine. But again, for the recipe, just stick with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. I have our diced chicken going into our pan. And like I said, because I have it, I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle a little ginger. And a little house. This one comes out pretty fast. And if you're new here and you don't know what house seasoning is, I will link it in the description below. It's my custom blend and it has salt, pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder in it. And basically, I put house on everything. So just add that to our chicken and we're just gonna saute that for about 4 minutes. After 4 minutes, when your chicken is almost finished, we're gonna add in those frozen veggies. And again, I'm cooking for 2, so I'm putting in 2 cups of the frozen veggies and our water chestnuts. Then I'm going to cover this and cook it for another 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, we have our veggies that are cooked, our chicken is cooked, and to finish it up, we just add our sauce. And we'll just stir that around. There is a little bit of liquid in the pan from those frozen veggies, which is perfect in this case because you need just a little bit to kind of water down that teriyaki sauce a little bit. And just like that, dinner's done. I think I should call this 10-minute stir fry. What do you think? If we didn't include the rice, it would be 10 minutes. So let's plate this up, shall we? First, I'm going to get some rice. And then we're going to put our stir fry. And remember, you can change the veggies. Any frozen veggies will work. Fresh broccoli will work. It's so simple. Get those water chestnuts in there so we have some crunch. Yum. Let's add a little sriracha here. And if we want to be really fancy, we can add a few cashews as well. There you go. 10-minute stir fry. Let's eat. Tonight's supper is going to be the easiest shrimp scampi you will ever make. This is a package of shrimp from the freezer section in Walmart, and we are going to make shrimp scampi, and we're going to serve that over spaghetti. Now, don't let this stick of butter scare you. There is a lot of butter, but that's kind of the point of shrimp scampi, right? Buttery, garlic, yummy. So, for the ingredients, we need our frozen shrimp. We need 3 cloves of garlic that we're going to mince, a stick of butter. I'm making this for 2 tonight, so I'm going to use a half a box of spaghetti and the juice of a lemon. Now, I will tell you, you can swap out the lemon for white wine if you want to, but I'm a red wine girl, so I don't have any white wine in my house. So I'm going to just use the juice of a lemon. Also, we said 5 ingredients, right? But I need you to give me a little pass because to season the shrimp, I'm gonna, of course, come in with house seasoning. And then when it's all finished, to add a little color, I'm gonna top it with some parsley. This one is so easy. We're just going to mince the garlic, juice the lemon, and we need to thaw these. And I'm basically just gonna go with the package instructions. So we're gonna run these under cool water for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna head to the stove. I have my pasta water boiling with my half a box of pasta. Now, remember, I'm making this for 2, so you would just use a quarter of a box of pasta if you're cooking for 1. Now, let's talk about this shrimp. So this shrimp tells you that it's 41 to 60 shrimp per pound. I'm gonna go with a half a pound or 20 shrimp. So that's what I have here. I just took them in my colander, ran them under warm water, just like the instructions said. Gonna top them with the house seasoning. Then I'm going to spray my pan. Turn that on. And then basically to cook these, we're just gonna follow the skillet instructions right here on the back. In go my 20 shrimp. Spread them around. And while that's warming up, I'm gonna head to the sink and wash my hands. Our shrimp is starting to cook and turn pink. So we're just gonna flip these over. This is really gonna come together so quickly. And once these shrimp are basically all pink, we're gonna toss in our butter, our garlic, our lemon, and we're done. Now, if you're cooking for 1, I would just use about 10 of this size shrimp. That along with your pasta will definitely be plenty. Now that all of our shrimp are pink, let's toss in our garlic. And our butter. I'm going to turn off the heat. And once this butter is completely melted, add our lemon. And I'm only going to use a half of that lemon. We'll use the other half in some sweet tea. Look at that. How easy was that? Literally 2 minutes. Now we just need to wait for our pasta to finish, and we're ready to plate this up. Alrighty, friend, let's put this together. Ooh, we have our steaming hot drained pasta here. That might be a little much. I could probably put a little bit of that back, but that's okay. This will be his serving. And then we're just gonna add half of our shrimp right on here. You could top this with Parmesan cheese. That would be amazing with all the garlic. Sprinkle it with a little parsley. And then I'm gonna come in with a spoon and then just take some of these. I was gonna call it pan sauce, but I guess it's really just butter and garlic, right? All over. Oh, you have to make this one, friend. I want your kitchen to smell as delicious as mine does right now. It's so good. And literally done in minutes. Let's eat, y'all. Well, there you have it, friend. 3 recipes. Have you made any of these recipes before? How about that freezer ravioli lasagna? Have you made that before? Or did you find something new? Maybe a reminder recipe, maybe a new recipe. Any way that you've come across these recipes, they're delicious, they're easy, and with these items in your freezer and pantry, it's a little reminder, oh yeah, I can make 3 meals out of what I have here at the house. Now, as always, if you have a question, leave it below in the comment section. I read and try to reply to every single comment. So if you have a question about an ingredient, or if you need an idea to swap, or if you just need a little motivation, I'm here for you in the comment section too. Just be nice. We have a nice community here, right, everybody? Speaking of that, I would love, again, to show up in your YouTube feed every week. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be back next week with more meal ideas for you, and I hope that you're here. Have a fabulous day, friend. Bye.